Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of Titan Muscle and Mind, and today I've got a special guest, Andrew from AEROMIC. Now, what you guys don't know about AEROMIC is I've had AEROMIC in my gyms for 20 years, and they've been absolutely amazing in those 20 years, and I wouldn't really look at any other microphone. I didn't know the owner, Andrew, until a good friend of mine, Harry, said, look, he's got a new client and his name's Andrew and he's from AEROMIC. And I said, mate, bring him down. When Andrew came down here to Titan Fitness and I met him, I kind of knew at that point, right then, why AEROMIC was so good. You're just like me. You're about the brand. You put everything into it. I loved your story about how you started with them. And it showed me just how passionate you are, not just about the product, but just about what you've done for me in the last 2 weeks, your service. And I believe everything in life's about service and value, and that's one thing that AEROMIC has over a lot of people that I deal with in the business that we do different and various things with. And it's a credit to you, Andrew. Like, mate, I met you 2 weeks ago. I felt like I've known you for a long time. As much as Harry when I left him out in the streets back at Rockdale many years ago, and he's still homeless. But mate, thanks for coming down and being on the Titan Muscle and Mind program today. For those that don't know you out there, tell us a little bit about your story and how you got started with AEROMIC.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us on the podcast. Appreciate that. I got started, just went for a normal job like most do when you're out of school, and I started at the company almost 15 years ago. And I've stayed on ever since. It's a great company to work for because, like you said, all those important things, which I'm glad, our brand has shown you, is that, customer service is very important for us. Making sure that the product we sell is of the best quality it can be, so that the customer's experience is a good one.
And so, like, going back to it, you started with AEROMIC 15 years ago as a worker.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So automatically, that shows me you're willing to put in the hard work and learn about the brand before you became the owner and invested in the brand. Is that something that's big for you? Like people coming in, learning the trade, and then if they want to be a part of it, put in the hard work?
Correct, yeah. I mean, you want people that care about the company and don't just look to it as a paycheck. You want them to be able to be as passionate as you, otherwise that gets lost.
Yeah.
If you can't talk to every customer yourself. So we've got a good team at AEROMIC, and everyone knows what we expect from them and what we expect in terms of customer service, and making sure that every experience with us is the same, whether it's a owner or one of the workers. We're all the same there.
So everyone's like behind the brand. So you've got a tone of voice, and obviously it's about service and value. How important is that to your company and your workers?
Oh, extremely. It has to be for us. We're in as you know, we're in an industry, fitness, where there's a lot of things that can go wrong due to the nature of being, the type of activities we're doing. There's a lot of sweat, so everything we do has to last in that environment, and we know what it takes to last in that world, and it's very important for us, and it's important to be there for the customer, because fitness people don't know about mics. They don't know about AV. They want to turn the button. They want to push on and it works. They don't need to know how to tune the system. They don't want to know.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure to be that extra helping hand, so that they can get the product and it just works.
You talk about that, right? And when we look at this microphone, right, you're right. Instructors just want to come in, turn it on, and do the work. Everyone uses AEROMIC. What sets you guys apart from the competition?
Okay, well, the biggest thing with our AEROMIC is that they're handmade here in Sydney. Okay, all the other mics on the market, they're either machine-made overseas, which we've got mics that are machine-made overseas, but the AEROMIC's a different beast. It's the only mic on the market with a 2-year warranty against sweat death. So we back up with the fact that we've got the best mic in the fitness world with a 2-year warranty. No other mic on the market does that. We can go up to 50 classes a week, 7 classes a day on one mic. You won't get that sort of use out of many, if any, other mics. And we're very proud of the fact that it is Australian made and sold and used in over 20 countries around the world.
Wow.
You know?
I mean, that's massive in itself, right? To have it in 20 countries, and like we've been, and I didn't even know you like a month ago, Andrew. I've been using you guys for 20 years. That goes to show that your customers are loyal customers. And would that be true?
Yeah, 100%.
Because I didn't even know you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, funny story, I'll just quickly touch on it. The original Titan Fitness, Rockdale, sound install job was done by John Penhallow, the owner and the person who started AEROMIC Mics Australia. And he did the first install before he had this brand. So he saw a need for a sweat-resistant microphone.
Yep.
And he met with an inventor, an engineer, Peter Paisley, who together they designed this 26, 27 years ago.
Wow.
And it's developed. We're always looking to upgrade, to make it stronger, to make it better, but we do pride ourselves on having the best mic in the market.
Can I ask you a question? What's the difference between these two?
Okay.
Because one's bent and one's straight up.
Correct. So this is the AEROMIC. This is designed for group fitness activities, classes, sorry. It's designed that because the instructor is generally jumping around, the sweat rolls off, hits the sweat ring and bounces off.
Okay.
This one's called the cycle mic. So this is designed for spin classes.
Yep.
Reason being, we found that using an AEROMIC in a spin class, there was not as much bouncing around, so the sweat tended to build up down the bottom. So what we thought we'd do is we'd bend the boom arm at the bottom, so the sweat could just roll straight off the bottom.
Wow.
Because these are all the things we have to.
This is what we were going through back years ago.
Yeah, well,
it changed a lot since then.
Yes, correct. We've made some major upgrades.
Now, obviously, when you own a company like AEROMIC and you worked your way from the bottom, there must have been some principles that you worked off to get to the top there. What were those principles, or did you always believe that you were going to become part of a company that you go, that's what I want to belong to?
Yeah, so initially I thought it was just another job. And then when I realised what the company stands for and that we were selling a product that I believed in, that I knew was quality, and I knew that I could sell it to anyone and be 100% confident that they're getting the best product that they can buy. So that was really important to me, and that made me stay. And obviously I wanted to become a part of the company. So I always looked of what I needed to do, what the bosses expected of me to do to get to that next level and become a partner, which I have today.
So the transition from the time you started to the time you're here at AEROMIC now, has there been a lot of changes?
No, I wouldn't say there's been major changes. We always try and... Are you talking about the product or the business?
Both ends. Both. So the product and the business, and like, how do you get yourself out there now as opposed to what you did back then? Yes. And has the product changed, from the time you started to the way it is now? Okay,
so on a business front, it's changed a lot, because when I first started, there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't Instagram. We didn't even have a web shop back then. It was. When I say back then, it wasn't.
That far. It's not that far, but it was a lot of technology. I know, it's massive.
It has developed. So obviously our web shop, fitness audio shop, which Harry from Web Sessions has put together and done a great job with that. That's been a big part for us. The website is how people shop these days. So we didn't have that before. I remember when I first started, we're taking orders on a little notepad over the phone. It doesn't happen like that anymore. People want to buy it. We send out most of our orders the day we get them, and they get it the next day. That's what people expect. So definitely that, and the social media side of things. We're trying to grow our presence on Instagram and Facebook, because that's where people want to see. They want to keep up to date with products, because for us, we're at the Fitness Expo, Filex, every year, and that's a great time for us to interact with customers and get feedback about what they loved about what we did that year, what they didn't like, what we could change, what we could add to our range. And now with social media, we get that all the time. So we get that instant feedback of what we could be doing better or what we're doing great, and work on those things, because we're always looking to develop and evolve as a company and as a product.
And we do the same thing here at Titan Fitness. there's always challenges within that as well, isn't there?
Correct.
Because people come, people go within the company, and you're always looking to forge ahead, and certain things happen in life. How do you overcome those challenges? And are you goal driven towards your challenges, that whatever happens in between is just part of the process?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a great way to summarise it. You don't know what the next corner has around it. You don't know when a staff member will leave and a new staff member will come. You don't know when, the game changes, the brand changes, and you got to just know that your end goal is to always do the best you can do and work harder and learn more and develop. That's what we're always got products in production. So we not only make the microphones, we make the wireless electronics, the mixers, and we're always looking to develop them. We've got a current line of digital systems about to be released, and that's looking to change how we do it. We've seen some of the issues that come up with transmitters, and it's taken the batteries in and out. It's the losing the lids, as you know.
I've just seen the new stuff you guys have got. Unbelievable.
Thanks.
I really like it. That shows the evolvement of where you guys are going. Is obviously listening to people. In fitness centres like ours, these are so crucial. 80 classes a week. The instructors want to be heard.
Correct.
So it's so important. So mate, I take my hat off to you showing me the new stuff you guys have come up with. Do you see it changing a lot from this point in the next 5-10 years on how people use the mics and the transmitters and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think over the next few years it won't change too much. I don't think the technology is where we need it to be to make the next step.
Yeah.
We're still, the way the mics talk to the receivers, the transmitters talk to receivers, we're still limited by technology.
Yeah.
But I can see that developing definitely 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And, one day I would love that to be the only thing you wear.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As technology becomes smaller, batteries become smaller, there's no lead.
Yeah.
There's no transmitter. Why not?
It's just, 100%.
The phones have dramatically decreased in size, and I'm sure, we can get there with transmitters. It's not there yet. I can't see it in the next few years, but nothing's impossible.
And for you guys, it's about getting longevity for the customer as well, isn't it?
Correct.
You want to get on the two ends, but you also want people to stay up to date with the new technology as well, so they get the most out of the technology they're using.
Correct. The more we can send our goal is to send this to you and we don't hear from you. Yeah. We expect a life expectancy of close to 5 years if looked after correctly. Yeah. And we back that up with a 2-year warranty. Yeah. And if I don't hear from you, then our job's done. I don't need you to ring back 6 months later and say you're having problems, because then we haven't done our job. Yeah. But as you know, and especially your GFM knows, a lot of it is education to your group fitness instructors. I've had a lot of gyms over the years where they just say, your mics don't last, your mics don't last. And I know that's not true. They're in over 20,000 gyms around the world. If there was an issue with these mics, we'd know about it. Yeah. So it always comes down to an education of what are your instructors doing wrong and what can we do to change that. Yeah. And some of those things is just as simple as making them take accountability on using the mic. So a simple sign in, sign out book. We've found that dramatically changed, because the instructor gets the mic, they sign, Andrew's picking it up at 6:30 p.m. for his class. Now, okay, I'm responsible for this now. And they tend to treat it a bit better. If we get an individual instructor, which we're seeing that a lot more, they just buy their own mic. Yeah. We don't hear from them ever. Yeah. They buy it.
Do people buy it individually, like instructors as well?
Yeah.
Really?
That's becoming more and more as some of the other bigger brand names in the fitness industry, like your Fitness First, etc., they're switching to the cheaper mics to save money. Okay. Yeah. So on paper it looks good because they've switched to a cheaper mic, but the instructors aren't happy with the quality, and they just want to get their own mic that they know works and they've used for 20 plus years. So that
does happen.
Yeah, that's a big switch that we have only seen over the last few years. Yeah. You'd never get normally an instructor buying their own mic to use.
I like that. Gym. You know why I like that? That instructor is taking pride in their class, and they know they want to have total control over that mic, because I mean, do we do a good job? I don't know. Do the girls ringing you over time?
You guys, for how many classes you do here a week, you're a very busy gym,
Yeah.
you know, and it's credit to Titan Fitness and what you guys have achieved here. You know, I've known since, I didn't know you until a few weeks ago, but I knew the new management came into here and took over, and you guys have taken it to the next level. So it is a credit to you, and when I've dealt with your staff throughout the years when they've needed repairs on microphones or new stock, or you know, they've always represented the brand well. So that's a credit to you, Matt.
I think the biggest thing is all our workers are instructors.
Yes.
So they understand it from an instructor's point of view. And I think that's what sort of sets the culture and the tone for why we're so good at probably looking after this, but more so that our team isn't just, they're not just receptionists. You know, they do everything from classes to PT, so they can help every single person. I think that's important. And that's a really good way of keeping these in shape because they get it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Whereas with a lot of places, they wouldn't have that system in place to be able to go, the receptionist would just take that, just throw it for the next class, next person come in, here, take it, wouldn't even care.
Exactly. Yeah. And your instructors, they do listen to the instructions. Like we've got in our manual, hang them up on hooks, let them dry, have the transmitter on a table below so the leads aren't being pulled, don't coil the wires. And I walked in the other day when I first met you to check the mic system.
Oh, you're happy.
And they're exactly how they should be. You know, and that's a credit to your GFM and to the instructors for knowing, okay, if we look after these products, we're going to use a good mic for our members. Yeah. And it does make a difference to members.
When you've got a happy instructor, they're giving everything to the class.
Exactly.
They set the tone for what the member feels as well. So that's been a big thing for us, is to make sure that everything, even when we came in and we had to fix the music and tomorrow's the Sonos, like you don't just do this, you actually do, you put together spin studios, group fitness studios, functional studios. You put together gyms. Tell us a little bit about that, because it's not just about the mics.
No, it's not just about the mic. You're right. We do. That is where it all started, and then obviously we've developed from there and evolved, and branched out to the mic systems, and then the stereo systems. We do. We have installers all over Australia and the world. If anyone ever needs them overseas, and we do. We fit out. We're doing a job at the moment. I'm going to Hamilton Island tomorrow to finish it off. And it's got projector screens in there, it's got all the wireless electronics, all the speakers, everything. So yeah, we do the full package, you know.
And for me, knowing that you do that makes me more comfortable going, well, I want Andrew to handle everything for me now. You know, after our initial meeting, I felt that, because I go, well, he understands all my rooms now, and he's going to understand it from the mics all the way to the speakers, all the way to the whole system. And I advocate that for anyone going, if I'm just going to get the mic, I want AEROMIC's full system and their service, because people aren't going to get your whole service if they just get this. To get your full service, they've got to do everything with you. That's what I believe.
Correct.
And I think if you work with people, you want to work with people that you know and trust and like, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And we saw that the other day when Susie rang up and you had a problem with your page-in mic, which has nothing to do with fitness. Yeah. And, you know, we came out yesterday, solved it.
But it makes a huge difference. You know, you do one little thing, it leads to other bigger things as well.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what I want our viewers to learn about this as well, Andrew, because I want them to see your story and how you started in the business. I want them to understand that you worked from the bottom. You went there for a paycheck initially, but you understood the values and the service that this company gives out. And you wanted to be a part of something that had the backbone of a company that seemed like, you know what, this is the brand I want to belong to. And I think that's important for people to understand that. And I want people to understand that, like, I know a lot of people in the industry, you know what I mean? And when you came here and Harry introduced us, from the get-go, I just knew we were going to get along. And that's why you're here today. And I'll just to let people know the context of the story, guys. I've been out of social media and doing these podcasts for a week and a half, and to be perfectly honest, I had to do this one because, you know, Andrew's been, since I've been out of here, he's been looking after different areas of the gym, and I always remember those initial moments when, you know, you have that relationship with someone, and I know like last week, Jules was away, we couldn't do last week. And obviously I went through a lot last week. My dad's got stage 4 pancreatic cancer and he's not doing the best. And it's been probably one of the roughest and up and down weeks I've ever had in my life. I've learned so much during that week as well. And I learned a lot about, just how hard you have to work, but also how hard you have to support those that you love. And sometimes you need to walk away from the thing that you love the most. And your mind's in 2 separate areas. You love your business. You know what you've got to push to get the most out of it and to give the most value. But on the other end, you know that if I do have time, what kind of time do I want with my family? And the principles that was shown within the family last week and how we got together to work so hard to help my dad out as much as we can are the same principles that both our companies are built on. They're built on when you're under pressure and your back's against the wall, you work your butt off to get things done to help whoever you have to. And if your purpose and your values are aligned, it's not hard. So then for me, coming to sit down with you here wasn't hard for me. It wasn't a hard choice. If people ask me, is it hard for me to come into the gym in the week and a half? It's extremely hard. I go through different emotions depending on what's happening. But knowing Harry, and it's funny that his dad was in the hospital at the same time as mine, and knowing that you're coming in here, it didn't feel like it was a problem for me, even though it has been hard to come in here. And not only that, for me, if I look at what my dad's done for this business, mate, he helped build this whole building. Without him, it would have been extremely, extremely hard. And I never forget, he's not feeling the best when he got stage 4. He just keeps saying to me every time he sees me, he goes, go back to work and start working hard. Do you know what I mean? And when I look at all those principles of what's happened in that last week, and then I look at how you run your business and how I run my business, that's how we run life. Like, that's life, right? It's the same things. You get knocked down, you get back up. You keep pushing forward. You look at where your goals are. Whatever happens in between will happen. What have you learned from that experience to make yourself better? Who are you going to surround yourself with to extend you and push you beyond what your potential is? And if I believe human potential is limitless. So how can I push someone hard? How can someone push me hard? Right? How can anyone push you hard? If that's limitless, how can anyone push you hard? And honestly, that's what I believe about AEROMIC. That's what I believe about you. And I said to you a couple of weeks ago, I said, mate, I felt like I've known you forever. And they're the types of people I want to be around. You know what I mean? And the reason, and I feel so good when I do a podcast like this where I share the same values as someone, because it makes me feel better. Even when people go, are you up for it? If I'm talking to someone that shares the same values and the same beliefs as me, I'm definitely up for it.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Yeah, and look, we're going to have a relationship with you forever. Where can people find this amazing brand, mate? Where can they find this amazing brand?
First of all, I want to say thanks for doing this today. I know you've had a hard week, and it's a credit to your dedication and passion for what you do, and I do really appreciate it. So thanks for having me on today. But
I wouldn't have been able to do it last week, huh? I was in tears for 3 days.
Yeah.
You're lucky the tears are gone, mate. When people go, can you talk about it? It's funny, you can talk about it because you cry for nothing. Like you're not for nothing, you're just driving and you're just crying. And then I go, fuck, this can't keep happening. Surely I've never had this many tears. But then you find that you actually can.
Yeah.
So.
And you deal with it in your own way.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why I'm here today, because of that. And I really meant what I said, man. Like, that's the truth.
No, it's been an honour to meet you, and I'm sure we've started a relationship that will go a long time.
So AEROMIC?
AEROMIC, where you can check us out on the website, fitnessaudioshop.com.au. We're always available on the phone or email. Just if you have any questions or need anything done, just let us know.
Yeah. Social media, what about the socials?
So on Twitter, we're at AEROMIC
AEROMIC Mics on Twitter.
Yeah, and Instagram is at AEROMIC Mics.
Instagram's at AEROMIC Mics.
Yep, and Facebook is just AEROMICs.
AEROMICs, beautiful. That's easy. That's Alan from the hospital. So I'll talk to him later. But yeah, he's been helping us out a lot, Alan, at the hospital there, so I really appreciate all that work. But thanks again
Thanks
coming
for
down,
having
Andrew. And for anyone out there that's in the fitness industry, if you're thinking about any mics, you shouldn't think any further than AEROMICs. They are the best. We've been dealing with them for 20 years. Everyone knows Titan Fitness as a brand, and we only deal with quality. We only deal with quality. So, guys, if you're thinking about AEROMICs, don't think any further than AEROMIC. Andrew, thanks again.
Thanks
Appreciate your
for
time, man.
Thanks,
Really do.
brother.
Thanks.